Hey everybody, Mark Herman, aka LA Bengals fan on most of the major platforms, and I am joined here, as always, with Jake Circus of the Jake Circus podcast. And this is, what do we even call this? This is the
The redo.
Jungle, Jungle Talk schedule review, news and notes, Jungle Talk. Yeah, all right, there you
Po-
go.
post OTAs.
Yes, post OTAs. There you go. That's what we'll bill it as, the OTA recap. Although OTAs were kind of well, there was some stories. We'll get into it. So first I want to apologize for the long laugh. We recorded an entire schedule release show. The file got corrupted. We never had a chance to record again, and that was it. So I know it's been a couple months since we put something up. So we're gonna go through everything. Jake, before I forget, tell them where they can find all your stuff.
Yeah, Jake Circus podcast on Spotify. It is June. That means we're pretty close. So we'll be getting back after it in a few weeks here. So yeah, stay tuned.
All right, and if you don't subscribe, please subscribe. It's all we ask. I don't have ads in the middle. We don't ask you for money. We don't try to sell you products. All we ask is you support the channel. So hit the subscribe button, hit the bell so you know when our episodes go up. We do previews and recaps throughout the season, every week when the season starts. So please just support the channel. So let's just jump right in to I'm gonna throw out a bunch of news that's happened in the last couple months, and then we can comment on what we want to comment on. First of all, Pratt was released. Volson reworked his deal. Stone agreed to a pay cut, and Dax Hill's option was picked up. So those are the major player notes for our existing team. And the Trace saga drags on, but with all that happening, they're talking now. So I don't know if they cleared up with the Pratt being released, got him, I think, 5 million on the of cap space. Volson, I don't know the details on Volson and Stone reworking their deals, but hopefully this kicks in. I mean, with Trey, I think this is more of probably like a 2 years. He's got 1 year left on his deal. Maybe they add another year and they make him each 35 or something like that. I mean, I'm hoping it's somewhere along those lines. They have the space to do it. For Christ's sakes, Jamal Alexander just got signed by the Ravens. They always seem to have money for the players they want to pick up, but we can't pay Trey. I just don't understand the accounting. I mean, I'm
Well,
not.
we can pay Trey, and this is where everyone gets confused. The people who don't understand are like, oh, they can't do it because they paid T and Jamar. That they can pay him. They totally can, and I still think that they will. Look, this whole Trey saga started before the season, where he wanted the new contract. They didn't give it to him. Then he had a million sacks, led the league, and arguably was the best defensive player in football. And now the Bengals' way of thinking is they're going to try to hold him hostage because they don't want someone else to pay him. They don't want to trade him. They don't want someone else to pay him, but they don't want to pay them or pay him. So it's just this endless cycle of who's going to blink first, and the player's not going to. I still highly think that it'll get done to some degree. We have not seen positive news about this in months.
Well, no, we got him talking again.
But that's not positive news. That's like Schefter was very cautious what the verbiage he was using. He was like they are actively talking, but there is still they have not jumped any hurdles. That they have not made any progress. This is going to be close to being done. There's still time. So I think that it'll still happen. They have shown no indication that they want to trade Trandrickson. So they're going to eventually do it because they're not going to have him sit on the bench, and he doesn't want to sit on the bench. That would be dumb for everybody involved. So
Mm.
it will eventually happen. That relationship will be forever broken unless something crazy happens. But it is what it is. That's the business. The Bengals have not been making many friends amongst their defensive linemen these days. So.
And the offseason started out so positive with the T and Chase thing getting done that I really had hoped that this would be in line and we wouldn't be having this conversation. Like I said, I kind of envision 70 million over the next two. So that's an extra 15 for this year. And because
Yeah,
I
I
know they don't
mean,
want to give him a long term because of his age and they can't commit that much money, but that's something that's easily workable. Do a huge signing bonus up front, get it front loaded, and he can get a check right away. Listen, you get 20 million or something immediately, or a huge signing bonus. That's still we're talking about such huge money now that I mean, I never ever envisioned we'd be talking mid 30s for defensive linemen, but here we are. So, um,
yeah, but that's why we're here. I mean, Trey was always going to be seen as, I guess, the odd man left out amongst the big three. And when you have an offseason where your three best players outside your quarterback are all needing to get paid, and I guess technically Jamar didn't need to get paid this offseason, but obviously they were going to do that.
yeah,
He was a total free agent, so obviously T needed. So like someone's going to get left out, and a 31-year-old pass rusher coming off of the best season of his career, like that's done. You don't expect him to continue that production in his now age 31 season, but you're at a discrepancy where you still need to give him what he is worth because if you don't, someone else will. Like it's just the type of thing that the Bengals are just always so bad at because they're just so stubborn. Like sometimes you just have to make your players happy. You have to make those decisions where you might be overpaying, but you just have to do it because that's what good normal run organizations do. The Bengals are not that. So
no,
like this is none of this is surprising, Mark. I mean, if you told me that this was possible, that this was going to be the result 6 months ago, I'd be like, yeah, but I still think it's going to happen. Like I still think that it's going to get done and solved. But none of this is surprising. None of this is. I mean, the Whitworth stuff years ago was a little bit different because he was just an unrestricted free agent, so they really like they didn't hold him hostage like they're doing with Trey. But this kind of reminds me of that, like older player off of multiple great seasons. Like you literally, your team will not be the same without him, and we saw what the Bengals were for the next 4 years without Witt.
yeah.
This is, and the guy they drafted to replace him is still not on the team. So
That's a great segue because we were talking about. I was going to use the stubborn as the segue, but here we are. Shador Stewart
Shamar.
Shamar Stewart didn't attend OTAs. Basically left before they were over some language that the Bengals initially wanted some different language, which I think was stupid. But then they agreed to put in language that both the pick before him and the pick after him have in their contract, and he's not going to have it. So, and he's threatened going back to college, and it's like, can't we just not have the drama? I mean, the rookie contracts, the money is slated. This is all about guarantees if he doesn't make the team. So it's not a numbers thing. Well, I guess it is if you're trying to not guarantee something if he's not on the roster. But the language that they now are asking for is comparable language that, like I said, the pick before him and the pick after him both have that same verbiage. So I just resolve this and get the guy in camp. You know, it's just this stuff we seem to we have a bad reputation as it is, okay, and then you just highlight it when you do stuff like this. It just kind of, as a Bengal fan, it makes it so hard to be a fan of this team. They just do this every year. There's something. So
They haven't signed the linebacker they drafted either, right? Demetrius Knight, the second
I
rounder.
thought everybody else was signed. I know the third rounder was, but with the Stewart situation, I don't. But I was under the impression everybody else was signed. So
Maybe
if
I
I'm
was
wrong,
I
put
was
it in the
this this
comments. You
this could be
know,
an older article. This could be an older article. Look, he's
yeah.
not
So
he's not gonna go back to college. Like there's no
no,
chance.
no, no. It's like I said, it's
It's
stupid and
yeah.
and just let's just get this worked out. Let's get Trey worked out. Let's get Stewart in.
Yeah,
And it's
most of the
yeah. Go ahead.
most of the Bengals reporters, the guys that actually would like know exactly what language this is like they're talking about and the terms of what's going on. The consensus is that Stewart's been given some bad information. I mean, he has been
Yeah.
given some bad that this is not the Bengals' fault. Now you can argue they can be doing more to fix it, but they will. This will all come and be fixed. But the consensus seems like Stewart's been given some bad advice.
Yeah. And then throw onto this the whole stadium situation, um, which is the most minor of the three, because I think the Bengals did get a concession from I think the state and and the county. So there's enough to just get this thing done. You know, threatening to leave and all that. I mean, I know it's possible they don't work out this extension. They're only bound for one more season there. But is Mike Brown really going to pay the Brown family? Really going to pay the relocation fee? Isn't it like $500 million?
Relocation, where are they going?
Well, I mean, let's
Yeah.
just say they find a city. St. Louis wants them, right? Let's just say they find the city. There's a huge relocation fee. It's not, and it was put in place because it restricted the Chargers. They had to go to a place that the league wanted them at, because that family doesn't have the kind of money. Kroenke could care less. They could have made, the relocation fee $1 billion. He didn't care, but not all the teams have. It restricts the smaller market teams, and I just don't see the Brown family. I mean, you're playing poker with chips you don't have. If you're not gonna if you're jerking Trey around over a few million. First of all, you didn't get T and Chase signed earlier, which you could have done and saved the money and given it to Trey. Right? I mean, part of this is like self-inflicted, and then you're threatening the. Like I said, it's just I just shake my head. It's like I said, this team's front office is so frustrating for the fan. So versus you watch a team like Baltimore that just seems to bring everybody else in. They don't have any of those issues aside from, Justin Tucker not being on the team anymore. But I mean, that's not a front office issue. I just watch other teams. It just seems like we're the ones always going through this, and it plays right into their reputation. The press picks up on it, and you just shake your head.
It'll all be fine. That's all we have right now. I mean, I don't
Yeah. So, like I
like
said, hopefully everything gets resolved in camp. I will say we have a history on this show of doing a show and big news breaks like
very
within
possible.
days.
It's
So
very possible.
if Trey gets signed on Monday, all I'm going to say is you're welcome in advance. Okay, here it is because we seem to have that. Some big piece of news always breaks after we do the show. So let's see if that holds true. So let's just briefly talk about just the schedule. We didn't get a chance. Like I said, we filmed a show. It got corrupted. It didn't get up. So just a few of the notes that I had from that show that we did here. I mean, Bengals are traveling the fewest amount of miles. We have one Monday night game. We have the Thursday night game, which is the road game. We have two Thursday nights, and one of them is the Thursday night game against Baltimore, which Burrow had some remarks about, saying why isn't this ever in Cincinnati? Which is a good point. I mean, we could be hosting that game one time. It seems like we're regularly in a primetime game at Baltimore. So we have the one Sunday night, which is before the flex, so we're locked in there. And a week 10 bye is a good bye week. But the biggest thing, four of our first six are on the road. But we have a very soft start to the schedule. I mean, we have Cleveland and Jacksonville, which are both games we should win. So, I mean, I'm just barring anything crazy, I don't want to hex us with anything, but we should be 2-0 to start the season, which would be a relief. I mean, we should. I'm not you got to still play
Yeah.
the games and everything, but as schedule starts go, Minnesota's not is going to be a tough game, and we've got our Monday night game in Denver, but we should be 2-0. I mean, that 2, 3, and 4 is a tough stretch. It's or 3, 4, and 5. Minnesota, Denver, Detroit.
Well, that whole stretch from week 3 to the middle of October is tough because you get the Green Bay on the road, and then you play Pittsburgh first division game. So look, yes. I mean, getting Cleveland week 1 is as good as possible. Getting Jacksonville week 2 is just as good because you got the new coach. Cleveland, I don't even know who's playing quarterback for them. If it's
Mhm.
either of the two rookies, you're dancing for that. But like this is a team that lost to Jacoby Brissett in week 1 last year. So anything can really happen, but they really shouldn't lose to Cleveland. They'll probably be as big of a favorite as they were last week or last year in week one, which was like a 9.5 point favorite, and they lost. Scored
Right.
like they scored like 10 points. We scored 10 points in that game.
So
13 points.
you know what? I
Joke.
try to block that stuff out. It's
Yeah.
not healthy to retain it. So
And then, the home opener week two against Jacksonville, that'll be getting brand new head coach, a team that's really in the middle of rebuilding, who I think could be decent, but in week two, that's asking a lot out of that team. And then yeah, you get to the hard part of the schedule. But what I mentioned on that show that never saw the light of day was we get we're getting like cold weather teams, like weather teams out of their element, and we avoid any type of big weather. What I mean by that is we go to Cleveland on the road. Hopefully that's not like in a monsoon like 2 years ago in week
right,
one. Not super cold. Don't have to deal with that on the road. We go to Denver in September instead of December.
right.
We go to Buffalo. That could be bad, but there was others that I was calling out.
Well, we have. I'll just throw something out when you're looking at the. I had said on that show, I remember saying we're going to know a lot about this team in the Week 5 game. We're going to know as a measuring stick game playing Detroit. We're going to find out where we are because
Yeah. Oh,
Detroit
and
is a great
you
team.
get Green Bay in October as well, and when
Yeah,
yeah, that shouldn't be too bad.
yeah, but I'm just saying with that Week 5 game, is going to be a great measuring stick game. We're going to know where we are because this is a potent offense, as potent an offense as we are. I mean, they can match us point for point, um, and their defense is better than ours. I mean, looking at they have a better defense. I'm hoping that we make a major jump with the coaching change, but this is going to be a great measuring stick to see where this team is. And I'm hoping we're 3-1 going into that game. You
Yeah, I
know?
think the measuring stick for me would be a little bit before that, actually. I mean, home against Detroit will be fun. Game that's not going to really matter a whole lot against an NFC team. But at Minnesota, at Denver, that's going on the road back-to-back weeks, one of them being a primetime game against two very good coaching staffs and two very good head coaches.
Right,
You get two young quarterbacks, J.J. McCarthy early in the season. We don't really know what he's going to be early on. I think he's going to be very good eventually. And then,
right.
Bo Nix and a Denver team that will certainly be out for revenge after kind of that game last year. So yeah, that'll be a fun test, kind of seeing what they can do against those really good coaching staffs. Those are two very good defenses, and then Detroit, who I think is the best team in the league.
Yeah, no, no, no. And we have short weeks. We have a short week going into the Detroit game. We've got a short week against the Steelers, and we've got a short week on the Baltimore game on Thanksgiving. So there's that tough stretch where we go Baltimore, Buffalo, Baltimore. I mean, that's we do finish. I got to say, as the sandwich goes, we start the season with Cleveland and Jacksonville. We end the season with Arizona and Cleveland. So you've got the soft start and the soft landing. We don't have that last week game. There's
Yeah.
nothing daunting going into the season. Obviously, teams change. That's why I hate the strength of schedule stat because it's usually it's you're not facing the same team you saw last year. But we do have this soft start, soft landing, week 10 bye. There's a lot of positive things about the schedule. So,
Yeah, and
it's
look,
going to be
like
tough
they're
stretch.
gonna they're they're gonna be in a spot where it's kind of gonna be all in front of them. Where if they start strong and pull off a few games, that death stretch, Baltimore, Buffalo, Baltimore, at the end of the year, that will be decided if they get a really high seed. And if they start like shit, that stretch will decide whether they make the playoffs or not. So that will be up to them. So it's all going to be in front of them like it was last year. But, you know, it's there are definitely parts in there. I look at the Jets, Bears, Steelers, Pats. That's, you know, pretty that's nothing crazy. I think three of those four teams will be good, but that's the softer part of the schedule. And then they close with Miami, Arizona, Cleveland, like you mentioned, Mark, and that's by far the softest part of the schedule, just
Yeah.
like it was last year.
Yeah, no. It's a shame that Miami's not in Cincinnati. You want to get them in Miami in cold weather. So that actually won a
Yeah.
big pull for me at the end of the season
But
last year.
but it's
I
Tua
picked
and
the
it's
Jets
Tua
money
in prime.
line
Yeah,
because yeah,
it's Tua in prime time, so that'll be okay. If Tua's playing that game, he
yeah,
let's
yeah,
that's,
no, no,
that's
no,
a little late in the year for Tua to play.
yeah, no, I agree. So so that's where we're at. Please put down your comments on the schedule. Let us know. Are we right? Are we wrong? Feel free to throw that in. And then we just wait. We're going into training camp next month. This is kind of that time off. So here's what we're all hoping for. Nothing in the news other than contract stuff. I mean, you watch, Sanders, everybody, Mel Kiper crowing about Sanders falling out of the first round. He's done everything wrong. And then with all his interviews and acting like he was going to be courted on the thing, taking phone calls in front of GM stuff. And then with the two speeding tickets now, it's like just entitled.
He
That's
could,
the
he still could start week 1 for them. Who
you
knows?
still could, yeah. So, but what we want is no Bengals in the news. No Bengals in the news for stuff off the field. So that's what we're going for. And I think we have a good shot at that because this is a good locker room. So you can say what you want to about Zach and everything, but this is a good locker room. There's leaders in the locker room. I don't think we have to worry. So, please, if you don't subscribe, please subscribe. This is a show by fans for fans. Just support the channel. It's all we ask. Jake, remind them where they can find your stuff.
Yeah, Jake Circus podcast on Spotify. Follow me on Twitter at Jake Circus. We'll be doing some pods here pretty soon.
Good,
It's
good.
almost
Yeah, he's
time,
got some
man.
good. Any gambling stuff? You got any baseball games for us? Any golf picks?
Well, Justin Thomas is doing pretty good for me today, so hopefully he wins. Other than that, I don't got much. It's
Okay.
it's
So,
it's it's that time of the year where I kind of go away from baseball and really dive into the NFL and college football prep. So it's a fun time.
yeah.
It's
If
been
you
a long off season. Been a long off season.
Hopefully you bet hockey. Was
I do not bet
living.
hockey.
I was living on the over the first five
Oh, were you? Yeah,
games.
they went. They were.
Oh, it opened at 6 on game one. Then it was 6.5, 6.5, 6.5, and then it was 6 on game six. So I pushed 6, and I won the first five. So there was a lot. I was feasting on the
Nice.
overs. So no, it was great. Every game was seven or more. So all right. Oh wait, we got to say hi to your dad real quick. He came for
Okay,
the
well, I gotta
tornado.
run right now.
Okay, all right.
He's a little late.
He's a little late, so here I'll let him in. Just say hi. Hold on.
Okay.
Here he is coming in, waiting, waiting, waiting. And all right, we were just saying goodbye.
Oh,
so,
goodbye.
I, so I thought you would say, I'll stay on and have a few words with you, Jake. I know you got to go. So please check out Jake's podcast and subscribe and support the channel.
See
All
you
right.
guys.
Hi,
Take care.
Jake. Hi, Jake.
All right, here. Hey, you know what? We've never done this before, so I'll do another 10 minutes with you. And
That's all I got.
okay, so we went through the news.
Who do we blame on Shamar Sanders, Shamar Stewart? That's all I want to know.
Okay, what is that? We said it. Hopefully, it gets worked out. I
Who do
mean,
we blame?
well, Jake said that he's read stuff and talked to people, and that this is Shamar getting bad advice.
I agree. I agree.
So that he said this is one. It makes us look bad, but this is one that's on him.
2/3 to 3/4 of all, and this is my understanding, I'm no expert, 2/3 to 3/4 of all rookies sign the exact same language that the Bengals are offering Shamar Stewart. And the other part of this, and I'm sure you guys talked about this, everybody thinks that like the Bengals are the only one with their first rounder that hasn't signed. Cam Scadaboo signed this week. Ashton Genty signed last week. I mean, it sucks that they have all been in camp and Shamar's not, which goes to the point of he's getting even worse advice there. Like he's getting bad advice by not signing this. He's getting even worse advice by not being in camp. And, to your point, it continues to make the Bengals look like the Bengals, and that's bullshit.
Yeah, I had said something about Alexander signing with Baltimore. I said it just seems like some teams just always seem to have the money for people and don't have any issues, and we seem to have issues. I'm not saying I expected Alexander to be in our locker room, but it's
I've
just
had
the
plenty of
Ravens
money.
just the money just always seems to appear for
Well,
you know,
hey, the Bengals have plenty of money. They could have signed Jair Alexander.
right. No.
Money's
And
not
then
a problem for us.
we took that into we're talking about the stadium situation. We took that into saying that you're not going to quit bluffing the move. You're not going to pay the relocation fee. I
Right.
mean, it's a huge relocation fee you have to pay the league. So the Brown family's not going to do it. So just let's get the stadium thing cleaned up. Let's get Stewart in camp, and then Trey. Let's get him signed. I had said something about he's got adding a year to his deal and giving him 35 for each year. That's 15 million more for this year, and he gets 1 year at 35, and you get him in camp and you get him happy. Just let's we don't need this drama. It's so, as a Bengal fan, it's very hard watching, us in the off season, especially when we started out so positive with the T and Jamar signing. So
Yep.
that was it. And then we went through and kind of recapped the schedule again. So because that show got corrupted and never got put on.
Oh, that's
So we
right.
were talking about. I was saying, about Detroit being a really good gauge at week 5 to see where we were at, and we had the soft start and the soft finish. We couldn't really. So hopefully we get off to a good start this year. I mean, 2-0. Going into Minnesota and Denver, win one of those, you're 3-1 when you're facing Detroit at home. So
My pick, my sneaky under the radar, what do they call it? Off the wall, whatever. There's a term that is always on Twitter.
right.
Lions take a big step backwards this year.
Okay. Jake has them as one of the best teams. I just think it's a good litmus test for us. But yeah, they're not sneaking up on anybody. Their team's ready for them. But
I think they have the battle to win the division, and they're nowhere near the 1 seed. They'll make the playoffs because they're good. I think a lot of what they look. Campbell's a defensive guy, and Campbell's a motivator. Ben Johnson leaving is going to hurt them. Some coordinators have a huge impact on a team, and when they leave, it's severely felt. And there's other times there's coordinators that are just as talented where they easily fill it. Philadelphia has been a great example of those guys have lost. I think it's 4 coordinators over the last 3 years or something like that. I mean, they've lost offense and defense twice in the last 2 to
but
3
they
years.
promote from within. So there's no
They never miss a beat. They never miss a beat.
no.
I think Ben Johnson leaving will be a big impact on the Lions. They're still going to be good. They're still going to win 10, 11, 12 games, but they're not competing for the 1 seed, in my opinion.
Right. Okay. If you want to do something fun, Google Mike Holmgren's coaching staff
Oh, it's amazing.
when he was at Green Bay, and you will understand why Aaron Rodgers won or that was the Brett Favre Super Bowl. But you'll understand why Brett Favre. I mean, you look at that coaching tree: Andy Reid, Steve Mariucci, John Gruden. I mean, it was
It's
just
amazing.
an absolutely insane coaching staff. So
But if you take it even further, if I'm not mistaken, Holmgren came from either Bill Walsh or somebody. So when you expand the tree even more to who he came from, it's even more impressive. But yeah,
yeah.
the Holmgren tree is something else.
But just put in Mike Holmgren's coaching staff at Green Bay, and your jaw will drop when you look at that staff. You'll just go, "This is unbelievable." Because I think they're on. It's almost like a Brady Bunch picture, if I recall.
Yeah.
They're on like a stairway, and they're lined up, and you go, "Wait, that's Andy Reid. Wait, that's John Gruden. Wait, that's Steve Mariucci." It's like you just kind of go through, and you just So, but
well, the other fun one is I forgot what year. Jake would know off the top of his head because it's talked about a lot and it's shared a lot. Is that, and I don't remember who it was now, but there's a year 7, 8 years ago, they might have still been there. Yeah, they would have been the Redskins still. The Redskins staff had like Sean McVay, Matt LaFleur, and like Sirianni or something like that. Like 4 top coaches were all on the Commander staff, Redskins staff at the same time in like 2018, 2019 kind of thing.
well, you're pretty. You're bouncing between Redskins and Commanders pretty well. I still call them San Diego Chargers. I still slip and call them the Oakland Raiders. Some things are just ingrained in my brain.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. By the way, the other fun one, the anti-Mike Holmgren. You ever pull up Bill Belichick's coaching tree?
no.
Train wreck. There's
Oh,
nothing.
what is that? You think about it, all the people, they're all, McDaniels is 2 fails, right? You know,
I don't know that
Dale
there's
was
anybody that's been a success. You look at like the Charlie Weiss, the Romeo Crennels,
none of them.
his kid, all of them. Just there's been nothing out of his tree, which is
Yeah.
insane. Who a
So
guy who's going to go down as one of the best coaches ever.
well, he still will, but that just doesn't mean that his assistants did well when they left. So,
Yeah.
any comment you want to throw in on the schedule? The other thing I talked about the soft start, soft landing, tough three in the middle. You
Brutal
know,
in the
with
middle.
Baltimore, Buffalo, Baltimore. Um,
I
short
didn't
weeks.
remember doing that. Let me pull it up. There
Well, no,
was.
no, you don't have to. I just that was we were just kind of
Oh,
throwing
I
it.
don't even remember it. I don't remember
You
it.
know what? It's okay because we're going to be doing a complete when we do the season preview. We're going to go on week by week and what we think our record's going to be.
Yeah.
So
What I will tell everybody that listens is when you pull up the schedule, don't have a heart attack like I just did. When you see at Philadelphia, at Washington, that's the preseason schedule.
yeah, right, exactly, yeah. No, I'm happy to have both of those not on our schedule this year.
Yeah.
Not playing the NFC East. So, but
The one thing I remember loving, and people are going to complain about the disadvantaged advantage. Ravens always have good ones. We always have bad ones. Whatever. I know we talked about it at great lengths on the show that never got
the show that never was. Yes.
but having to go to Baltimore for the fourth straight year on a Thursday night, whatever. Enough's enough. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Well, Burrow commented on it. There
Yeah.
were people and the NFL that responded and said, he's got a legitimate point here in that every single year, but just go play the game,
Right.
You still had to go to Baltimore and play a game. It just would be nice if one of those primetime games wound up as the Cincinnati one and not the in Baltimore. So,
Yep. Or even give us the Thursday game at home. I mean, to have to go to Baltimore on a Thursday every time, there's you do some deep dives and people have done it on the stats and specifically the AFC North. It's like AFC North road team never wins on Thursdays or Mondays. It's just for whatever reason.
right.
Tough division. It's tough to go on the road. The night crowds are always phenomenal. It's just hard.
Yeah. So, all right.
That the middle of the season, that middle stretch where we talk about it being nice from week 7, where you go Pittsburgh home, Jets home, Bears home, bye, then at Pittsburgh, home, New England. We'll see, man. It's real easy in June and back in May to say that's a real easy stretch, but Steelers now have Aaron Rodgers. Jets are up and coming. Bears could be up and coming. Then at Steelers,
I think the Bears will be the biggest improvement, and I think New England.
Yeah, of course. So who knows?
I think with Vrabel as coach, New England is not going to be, and we lost to them last year. Yeah. So, we were 9.5-point favorites or something opening day. I mean, so
the key to this schedule, come out on top. I mean, come out hot, 3-1, split one of the next 2, win 4 of the 5, 3 of the 5 in that stretch, and survive at Baltimore, at Buffalo, home Baltimore. Like survive that stretch healthy, win 1, maybe 2 of those, and through week 15, 14 games in, if we're 9-5, we're in great shape.
Yeah, well, you have Miami, Arizona, Cleveland to finish. Right. So
get to 9-5, 8-6, even 8-6. Finish all.
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
So, no, I agree. So, all right. Well, like I said, please support the channel. This is a show by fans, for fans. We don't give you commercials. We don't sell you anything. So just please subscribe, tell a friend, hit the bell so you know when our episodes go up. Apologize for the delay. I'm glad Devin dropped in. You got an extra 10 minutes of show there. So
bring in one more guard. Brandon Scherf is still out there, and there's one other guy that's still out there.
Yeah, I think we work out the Trey situation, and then I think we can look at with what's left, filling in some of the pieces.
A veteran guard, please. We're relying
Agreed.
On the rookie.
100% agree. We talked about Pratt being released. Volston reworked his deal. Stone took a pay cut. You have that money. You got Dax Hill locked in for his 5th-year option. With that money on the first 3 that I mentioned, let's get Trey in the building. Let's get the Shamar language cleaned up. Let's go into camp. And I was saying to Jake Pro, no headlines of off-the-field stuff. That's all. That's
Yeah.
all we want. We're in that zone where the news pops up and it's, no DUIs. Guys, behave yourselves. Enjoy your families. No firework. No, don't play with firecrackers on the 4th of July, So just I don't want any headlines other than Trey signed, Shamar signed,
Yes,
you know.
sir.
So
Sure.
so that's where we're at. All right. Well, with that, we're going to wrap up. Please subscribe, support the channel. I'm going to say, hoot, everybody.
Who dey?
Take care.